Hello, and welcome to Unexplained Possibilities Podcast. I'm your host, Melvin the Crimson Taurus, and with me today is my co-host, the third-eyed mystic herself, the ever-so-lovely Neima. Hi, Neima.
Hello. Hey.
So, guess what, Neima?
What?
This has been a hectic day, but
Yes.
we made it, and we are joined by someone. We are joined by a woman who I consider to be one of three, possibly four people who is truly psychic, and she can communicate with beings beyond the physical world, as well as pick up on energy most are oblivious to. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I believe I do.
Do you?
But I see, and now I already forgot how to say her name.
Well, that's okay. So you guys can know, the person I'm speaking of is no other than Madame Zarina herself. Please welcome Zarina Crow.
Well, hey there, guys. It's a pleasure to be on here. I was so looking forward to all week just coming in and hanging out with you guys and talking about everything that is unexplained and more. So I'm really happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on. And like I said, it's been a hectic day, but we made it eventually. And I am going to complain to Florida because everything should be on the. Uh, I'm just going to complain to Florida. That simple.
Look, I don't question you at all because I live in North Florida, so I'm ready to move out of Florida. I really am. I'm pretty much done with Pensacola, so I'm right there with you, Melvin.
And so, okay. I'm, yeah, that's right, dog. Darn straight.
That's Waffles.
All right, Waffles. He gets it.
Cute.
Yeah, Waffles gets it. So, Zarina, I know that a lot of times people who are gifted, they don't really like having titles. You know, it's kind of weird, which I can understand. But you're pretty impressive here with your titles, which, again, I know it's like, they're not really titles, Melvin. But, okay, so let's see. Psychic, channeler,
Yeah.
Energy
Yes.
healer, would that be correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I
Energy
do energy work on people.
Okay,
Yes.
spiritualist,
Yes.
able to speak with extraterrestrials.
I would definitely say that in beings, gods, goddesses, and a little bit everything in between. I have talked to everything from, the disembodied spirits to, the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's what I always call them. So it just depends on any given day who wants to show up.
Okay. Now, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I love that. Awesome movie, by the way. You guys
Yeah.
should see the No Name trilogy.
Yes.
But okay, so with the good, the bad, and the ugly, let's go into that first. Who's the good? Who's the bad? And who's just the plain ugly?
Okay. For me, I work a lot with the archangels. And for me, that is the good. That is the light. Also, there's what I'd say the ascended masters, and there's just light beings that, have typically just come to me to bring a message of hope, healing, or just, speak something into someone's life that's going to be able to have them to, have positive change and healing and direction in their life. um the bad, the bad is just um I've had some pretty cantankerous spirits, that I've had to deal with. Just some, we've been on an investigation, that just wanted to make their point across that they were not happy being stuck in this world. Ugly is, of course, of the dark side, and coming across those within, places that we've either investigated or even within people, or some that just kind of like to hang around, just certain places, and uh, so I've seen a little bit um, of everything.
When seeing everything, has this been throughout your entire life, or did you hit a certain age and then bam, it hit you?
Well, actually, I was born with my gift. It really started manifesting around when I was 6 years old. I lived in a Victorian home in Virginia, and I would have this lady that would appear to me just out of nowhere. And as you know, being 6 years old, that kind of freaks you out. You're thinking, oh my God, what is this? And my family knew I had a gift, but I think a majority of them was a little bit scared and afraid of me. So I really didn't get much help of learning, you know, what it was actually, what I was or who I was, or and so I started really honestly, studying myself and trying to figure out the answers for myself. Well, why I was like this? Why did I see these things? Why did I feel these things? So, I'm 47 now, so I've dealt with this all my life, and that's why I kind of say I'm pretty seasoned with the spirits.
That's a good way of putting it. Oh, you know what? This just hit me. And Neema, I probably should have thought about this before the show, but would you be okay if we actually talk a little bit about the experience that you had a few weeks back?
Yeah.
Okay, you go. I'm happy you know exactly which one I'm talking about. So you go ahead and bring it up.
Okay, so you just want me to describe what exactly happened to me?
Yeah, and Zarina, if it's okay, we'd like your opinion on it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm definitely down for that.
Okay. So usually I have something that help me keep grounded while I'm asleep is grounding mat.
Mm-hmm.
And I usually have that on my bed, and I was in the process of moving. I hadn't figured out the light switches, whatever the reason was. I had left my grounding mat off this night. And so I usually, when this happens and I don't have protection that I feel comfortable with, I fell asleep and I was out of my body. And from what I remember in this dreamscape or astral realm, whatever it was, someone had saw me, and it was a female, and she basically locked eyes with me. And she said, "Ooh, a brighty crystal." And she called me a brighty crystal. And from that moment, I felt like she was feeding off of me, like sucking energy from me.
Mm-hmm.
So painful and so traumatizing that I ran. Like I felt myself clinging to my body and trying to wake myself up and get back in.
Uh-huh.
And so I was able to, and I woke up, but I woke up and I was tremoring, like I was having like a mini seizure almost, because I was trying to wake up my body out of this terrible experience, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So and that's about it.
Well, I do believe because you were out of your body, what had happened is that, we do have those, what I call leeches, that tend to look for those who are, you know, vulnerable to being able to attach themselves and suck their life force. So only thing that I can really tell you is just, making sure with every experience, especially when, I'm, doing out of body things or whatnot, that you're always having, some type of crystal or some type of, definite protection, only because, those things can end up, especially if you didn't recognize and know what it was, you're going to have those things that, for a lot of people who are unknowing, just attach themselves to, people and begin to siphon, and it can literally siphon these people to the point where they die, because they're not aware of it's, they become that like symbiotic being with them, and just become very life force draining. But it's good that you recognized it.
Yeah. So, and my question is, so usually like that, typically I usually leave my body quite often. if I don't
Mm-hmm.
have my grounding stuff. So is there any information that you'd recommend on how to kind of navigate and also like protect yourself when you leave? Because it it's very curious to me, and I'd love to know how to explore more, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
so scared of leaving that
Yeah.
I purposely keep myself grounded because I'm like, it's just too intimidating to leave.
Well, for me personally, I will tell you, I always, I'm a chaos magician, so I tend to go with sigils and making servitors. That I have my certain servitors that are kind of like my
Okay.
backup entourage. That because you can only control so much of a certain aspect, but if you have like an entourage is with you that you've dedicated to kind of, hey, this is my backup, this is my go-to. He's going to be standing there with a machete or whatever that you envision his tasks out to be for that protection or that travel. I highly recommend servitor work, and that's
Okay.
I always go to that because I it has never ever failed.
Okay. Okay.
And here's a question too from Brandy, aka Free Me Life. What things make us vulnerable?
I think, to be honest, um, for me personally, vices can make us vulnerable. Of course, I think our mindsets can make us vulnerable, um and for a lot of the times, like for me, my spirits, they don't let me smoke, they don't let me do some of the fun things that I really like to do. Maybe every once in a while I can have a glass of wine, but they keep me kind of contained in certain areas, in order so it doesn't really contaminate my gift, because it allows me to have a little bit more of control, I guess. And I would say some of the things that um, I would definitely, how I say, is just being mindful that you're even in your sacred space, or, you know, everything that is around you, that what I always say, what you allow will continue. So just don't allow toxic things in your life, to cut them out quick, because if you have a gift or you have something that is going on, you don't want anyone to take your peace or your presence away from you. Does that kind of answer that? I
Well,
hope.
I think it does.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. Okay, so Zarina, you're very knowledgeable on, well, pretty much everything paranormal from what I can tell.
I try. I try to be a Wikipedia, but there's some things I don't know.
Well, but where does this knowledge come from? How did you amass it?
Well, I will definitely tell you this. Growing up, I did not have a lot of teachers. I kind of grew up, you know, self study, because I was in a rural area. The library that I had wasn't much of a library. So I did whatever I could to, get resources, and then as I traveled and I got a little bit older, I was very, very fortunate to, come across some mentors and some teachers that, really directed me and allowed me to hone my gift. But a majority of my time, I honestly have, and not having anybody, and that aloneness, everybody's afraid so much to be alone. They feel like everything needs to be in a PDF form or be taught or they read or a book here and there. But the majority of how you're going to grow is you get within. And I did. I got within. I studied. I got with, there were certain, foundations that I went through, that I fell in love with, traditions. Like I fell in love with voodoo. I moved over and I studied Yoruba with the foundation of conjure and the rishas, and just built myself in, allowing that one-on-one direct spirit with my guides and my orishas and my ancestors, and they literally point for point told me, hey, you mix this herb, hey, you put this oil, you put everything, this is how you put it together. Because when you trust in yourself and in your gift, There's no amount of book reading or book learning that you're going to get is going to be the same experience.
Okay, that makes sense to me. And here's one for you. Would you
Hmm.
change would you change any of your experiences?
Absolutely not, because I've gone through so many experiences. Most of my first part of my life, I truly stayed a light worker. I tried to stay in the light. I think we always want to be that fluffy light and love, and all that good stuff. But as I began to learn things and incorporate things into my life, I realized to be a true Bruja, a true witch, a true everything, you have to, there is, we are separated by this duality thinking. But, magic is, I really feel like, um, in order to be a true witch, you have to embrace everything, the good and what people see as the bad, the dark and the light. But when you start to really realize there is no duality in magic, and it just everything belongs together, everything connects, and and you have that knowledge of, you have the power to heal, you have the power to hex. It grows you up, it seasons you to understand, how to help yourself, how to change, certain places and pieces in your life, and help your clients better, people better that you run across. And a lot of the times, I just really feel, you know especially in doing our shadow work, that is the real key to us tapping in. Because so many people are afraid to, get in there and dig in. And as me, as being trained as a root worker, that's what I do. When people come to me, I say, look, I'm going to tell you, what I'm going to do for you is going to hurt. So if you're not ready to sit down on the table, you better get up and go, because I do the root work. I tell them, you got to get in there. If you really want change in your life, you got to do the root work. And it's not, mixing potions, or, doing, this, that, or, things like that. It's looking and taking a inventory of yourself, and saying, this is what I really want to change, this is what I really want to manifest and be in my life. Sorry if I kind of went off on a little tangent, but it just, like, I felt like that's where the spirit was leading me. So
Oh no, that's fine. Speak away. That's what we want.
yeah, and it is. And I will tell you, like, for me, we all get in places, even though we study different traditions, we all want to change, we all want to level up. And when I came into chaos magic, chaos is like, even though I will always have a love for my conjure and hoodoo and voodoo and all that, chaos magic literally is like ripping the ceiling off and sticking a fork in the light socket, and like, oh yeah, baby, this is like, you're going for like 35.5% of things to like 95.5. And I'm like, hell yeah. I hope that was okay to say on air. But
Oh yeah,
anyway.
that's fine. Don't worry.
And it's like, there was things that I set down, and especially Naima, is that how I pronounce it? What I want to talk to you about is like in 2019, in November, I turned 47 years old, and I decided there was change that I wanted to happen in my life. I wasn't happy. And things are not perfect, and we always struggle with certain things, and it doesn't mean that we don't go through bad things. But I set down a certain amount of goals that I wanted to trigger and happen. I set my sigils, I set my servitors to go and task and do those things out. By January, those things were manifesting. I started, and I had the opportunity with Sean to, co-host on Into the Abyss. I started getting guest spots. I started doing things that opened up. My clients opened up. I started being able to teach and do things. What I really wanted to do is to teach people, because that's my love. And and just even a couple days ago, I've had always in my heart since 2013, I wanted to do my own radio show. Well, 2 days ago, that manifested for me. So, magic doesn't always happen microwave, but it does happen. It'll take its own course in nature. And so I truly believe in the power of magic. I believe, you know, you can work all kind of things for people, but you've got to be behind your intent. You've got to be behind your vision, and you have to give it 110%.
So
It's
it's
like putting gas in a car.
no, it's almost like the power of your will determines if it's gonna
Yeah,
if your heart's in it. If your
absolutely.
heart's not in it, then what's the point?
It is, and I will tell you, I do life coaching and I do counseling and I do some things with people when I do work with them and do the readings. And like I've worked spells for people, to get employment, things of that nature. But people have the power so much to cast certain things with their words. I can work all the magic in the world for you, but if you were sitting there saying, "I'm broke," all this is blah, 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 blah. Those opportunities and jobs, those things are not going to come to you because you're directly being in an adverse competition with everything that I just worked for you. So, that's what I always let people know. Let magic work for you and don't work against yourself.
It's so funny you say that because I think it was the first time I heard you on Into the Abyss, the first or second time, one of those. Anyway, I remember you saying that if you're trying to get money or doing a spell or whatever, then don't say you're broke. Don't put that intention out there and all that. Say you have it, or claim and obtain. That's what I've been saying.
And
And
that's true, and I hold that because like the first time I ever worked sigil magic, and I needed my car insurance done, because I was at the last 11th hour, and I worked that sigil magic, and 24 hours to that time that I worked it, I had the amount to cover that insurance payment and put a full tank of gas. So I'm telling you, it works.
so, yeah, I actually think it does. I've been doing little stuff behind the scenes. Neima knows. And
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
bizarrely, like all of a sudden, I'm starting to get paid for it. So, hey!
Woo woo! Show me the money.
Yeah.
Dollar bills, yo. That's what I'm saying. And also, what I wanted to tell you guys is one of my new things that I get a kick, that I'm kind of like trying to get people to start activating and do is I take 3 pennies, I blow on them, and I say thank you to my spirits, and I drop them at a crossroads. And it never has failed. Every time, anytime I've ever needed money, something, whether it's $5, $10, whatever, money always comes to me. So just a little trick of the trade. When if you're sitting at a stoplight at Crossroads, drop some 3 pennies because everybody got 3 pennies in their car.
Oh, well, I have to check.
Melvin, I'm going to send you a whole cup of pennies. I swear. I'm telling you.
No, I actually do have a giant Coca-Cola bottle. And when I say giant, I'm talking about
Mhm.
4 feet tall. And it's
What?
filled with, yeah, yeah, I can hear Angie now saying, "What's wrong with you? Why do you have that?" But it is filled with pennies from the bottom to the top. And I kind of wish I put in quarters, but whatever.
Well, just to think you may have enough to pay for a whole cruise now, when the whole coronavirus, gets over. So you never know.
No, I can't do a cruise. I'll get seasick. Oh gosh, I'll
I
get.
know that's me. I'm not a boat person either. I would say I'd probably spend all that money in the first hour I get on the boat. I'd be like, I'm one and done. Get me off this boat. So, yeah.
So, but I know you have to vanish.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I have to get going right now.
Yeah, it's been a weird day. And you know what? I am gonna blame it on the alien. Okay, actually, so I just mentioned aliens, and you said that you. Okay, so I probably have to correct myself because I know there's some people don't call them aliens. Like, I'm sorry. Actually, our galactic neighbors. There we go.
Yes, I love that. That is so awesome.
So I know you communicate with our galactic neighbors. How does that
Hmm.
go? And when did this start?
Well, it was really funny because in my early 20s, it was just, kind of like the ghosts and everything like that. And it wasn't until I kind of like leveled up And I really grew in my gift. And, they didn't miss me in any measure of what they threw in my crock pot of gifts. So as I began to expand and trust that intuition, I began to channel, I began to do automatic writing, and I saw and I felt the energy shift and change between the different types of energy. And as I began to allow that process to happen, I was able to receive those, messages from those galactic beings that allowed me to, really see prophetic messages of what was going on in our world, some things in my life and things in other people's life. So it just really expanded my understanding of we're not alone in this world. It's just not, what's in the afterlife or what's across the veil. It's what's planetary as well, and our celestial, I'd rather say celestial, in nature. And I have found a lot of the messages, some come at me and they're heavy and they're hot and they're like banging out these warnings. And then there's some that are just incorporating this amazing love and light and healing, to help, I would say, resurrect or, birth these new visions, these new, moments of where we can, just, tap into life itself and fuse it with the possibility of hope. And so that's what my experience with a lot of them. And it's a different kind of feeling. That's why I think I like the Moldavite incense, because the Moldavite takes me to that more celestial place of where you feel that it's like this hum of energy that's different from the hum that's here on this planet Earth. Does that make sense?
It does. And it kind of goes along with the aspect of vibrations. And
Yeah, it's like a pure source, like being in the void where there's this pureness and this wholeness that you don't ever feel like, because earth can be sometimes so, not to say that there's not vortexes or beautiful places here on this earth, but there's these places that that are above us, like that saying, as above and so below, as within and without, that is above us, that as we tap into that source, it gets us to a different understanding of who we are within our relative humanity.
okay, so I'll ask you this. This is a popular belief.
Uh-huh.
I think it's incorrect, but are alien are galactic beings demonic?
Now, I don't feel that they are demonic. I feel like there are different species of galactic beings, and as there's good and bad and ugly and everything, I do feel like there are variances in these different beings that do not have a good intention with humanity. And then I feel like there are the other ones that do. So that is that war within those factions that that are influencing aspects of humanity, as we speak of now.
Oh, and your co-host, the man himself, Sean Gilmore, just popped in and said hello.
Woo! Yes, Sean. I love my Sean. He is the best as ever.
It's funny because even though I'm assuming that the beings are thousands upon thousands of years more advanced, more intelligent than us, they still
Mm-hmm.
sound human, if that makes any sense.
Well, for me, when they come across, some of the times they did not sound so human because that light language, because like like when I'm channeling, I'll reverb that light language, and then or I'll write it, and like when I'm trying to translate it, or I have a friend of mine, who is a very close friend. Him and I both communicate back weekly because he's a light channeler as well, and he will get those messages, so he'll send them vocally to me to translate, or he will write down the light language as well for me to translate that message. So it just depends on which ones are being vocal with you, because some of that language, the mannerisms, or even how it comes out or how you speak, you can tell the different dialects within that light language.
So, you ready for a chuckle?
Yes, chuckle me,
I
Melvin.
didn't actually mean their language sounding human. I just meant that even though they're more advanced and everything, they still have
Hmm.
that that good bad my intentions thing happening, a little bit of sneakiness
Hmm.
where we can't exactly come together and do what's best. That's what I meant, because we as
Oh,
people, we
I'm
have.
just.
Yeah, you took it literally.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Well, you know what? This is what you get. Zarina Crow. This is what I'm telling you. So,
Yeah, that's fine. Don't worry. But I I can only imagine though hearing them and how the brain must just go into extra
Mhm.
time and it's just like, whoa. Do you feel, I don't want to say special, but do you feel like a little lucky being able to communicate with beings that aren't of this planet and just elsewhere, whether it
I
be,
do.
okay, yeah, whether it be another planet, angels, whatever.
Yeah, I do. I actually do, because I know, when I've gone back and I've went through my Akashic records, and you know been on vision quests and the things of how my, not tooting my horn, and I say this with absolute, humbleness within my heart. Um, the ability to do what I do and speak with other, energies, I would say, um, I do feel special. But there's other, a side effect or a side, to that, as spirit, being a spiritualist and being able to have that conduit and that conversation with them. We as people are still human beings, we still make mistakes, we're still not perfect, and then half the time my ego or my logos is like, how is it that I am picked as this vessel to do all these out of the box extraordinary things and do all these things, and sometimes I'm a hot mess. Sometimes I am literally having a Tourette syndrome at the person in front of me that does not have their blinker on, and but the we have that human side of us. It's like, and it is, and we struggle with those, that human parts of us, but then we have these really real concrete spiritual experiences that separate us and make us know that we're spiritual beings having a human experience, and that we definitely are observers, and sometimes we are here to just step back and be a part of the solution, that I say, to help people change and evolve, and bring some type of unity and healing, and that's what I feel like. I feel like there are a lot of people that have a lot of gifts that they're afraid to, for whatever reason, whether they've been told they're evil, they're bad, or whatever belief system that they've grown up in, that has retarded their beliefs back to think that I can't do this, or this is bad, or this is not biblical, or all of these things are what nature. I think all of us have an extraordinary opportunity and capability to tap in just something amazing.
Okay. Two things real quick. First, hey Grave,
Yes.
that's a friend of mine. He just popped in, so hi Grave. And
Hey.
Angie actually has a hi Bomber. Angie actually has a question for you, and she wants to know: does anyone else in your family have similar abilities as you do?
I would say this. My sons have abilities, but they chose not to really tap into them, and I respect that because to do this path, to do this calling, it's a heavy toll at times. It costs relationships, it costs friendships. People are jealous, or people don't understand, or people are intimidated. And like dating, it's not really like you can put this on a dating app like, hey, I've talked to dead people and aliens and, all those kind of people. They're going to think you're a real flake. So it's just not for everybody. You have to be called to it, and you have to understand that it does take a lot of sacrifice, a lot of understanding, and it's okay that my boys didn't choose that. Sometimes I don't even know that, I would want them to choose that because of everything that I know that I've had to deal with in my life with it, and I'm okay with that.
Okay, so you bring that up, and yeah, there is another side to being gifted and able to see and experience things. Can
Hmm.
can you tell us nothing too personal, but can you share with us
Hmm.
some of the ridicule that you may have had to have faced?
Oh, absolutely. A lot of the times, you know, especially in job employment, I have literally lost jobs because people, especially within this area, are very Bible belt. And you really have to keep your gift and everything under wraps because a lot of people are not open minded. And I've literally got fired from a job, and this is truthful because I just am who I am. And I would rather be true to myself and authentic and know that I gave a message to someone to help them heal and have closure. Because let me tell you what, that job, it's just a temporary source. It's not my source. So it's a real deal, effective kind of thing that a lot of people don't realize that having a gift, you can choose to obey that call in your life and do those things that you're supposed to do at the end of the day because you have to look yourself in the mirror and you don't want to miss that opportunity that you didn't give someone that chance to heal.
Okay, that makes sense. And here's something. I always try to come up with questions that you may
Mm-hmm.
not have ever been asked, but then sometimes I fail at that. This is one of those times I'm failing, but
Mm-hmm.
I still think it's a good question. And do you think you could take us through one of the best experiences that happened to you while involving your gifts, whether it be, well, it's your experience. I can't say whether it be blah, blah,
Mm-hmm.
blah. And can you take us through an experience that you wish never have happened? So one of the bad ones.
Sure, absolutely. Let me give you the good one first. And this is a very, very, personal. Well, I don't want to. No, let me see. Let me do this one or the other one. Well, let me do this because the other one is very personal, and I don't want to be crying on air because it is a very personal one. But I will say this: I was at a friend's house and I was visiting because I travel, being gypsy and whatnot, and I had stayed the night at her house, and I came into the kitchen to make coffee, and out of the corner of my eye, I thought I saw her walk in the front door, because, she was maybe out getting the paper or whatever, whatnot. But then I realized that wasn't her. And this lady came and stood in front of me and she spoke to me and told me, da 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 da. And then my friend walked into the kitchen from her bedroom and as she looked at me, she knew my look. And she said, "Who's here?" And so I told her, and I said, explain to her in detail this lady. And this lady was a lady that got killed literally a half a mile up the road uh, in a car accident. And it happens to be that her brother lived upstairs of this apartment community. So she went upstairs and got the brother. I described everything, gave the message, and then I did the invocation and opened the door for her to cross over to the light. And that feeling of when that door opens and seeing someone turn around and validate you to cross them over to the light so they are not trapped in this world in the in between was the most profound, amazing experiences that I ever felt in my whole life.
That is deep. Oh, whoa.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So, and the funny thing of it is that even as they cross over into the veil and the afterlife, or even when they come across when I speak with certain people, still have those emotions. They still have those memories. They still have those things that holds true to them that while they were on this earth. And when I sit there and tell people things that they've never heard before, that I know I don't know you to know that, or I do remote viewing, there's just no way I can know these things. And sometimes it scares the bejeebers out of me. I ain't gonna lie. um Probably would say the worst scenario that I have experienced, just because I smell energy, I smell things with this gift. So I had a coworker come to me and she says, "You know what? This young girl's missing." And I don't watch the news because it's just too traumatic for me. And she says, "There's this young girl missing, and we know what you can do. We want to know if you know anything, whatever." And so I actually described to the T where they would find her. But the most horrific thing that had ever hit me was the smell of her decomposing body. And I will never to today ever forget what that smelled like. And it was probably 2 weeks later when it was back on the news, and they found her beside the fence on a farm, right beside farming equipment, decomposing. Just exactly as I said, I described the suspect, everything like that, and that's who they pulled in. And my coworkers were like, "We will never ever doubt you, ever, never, never." But I would say probably the weirdest thing of all, that smell of a decomposing body, and knowing that I wasn't even near it, but I was, I picked up on it.
Wow. I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting that one. Um,
Did I blow you away? I
yeah,
told you. I'm telling you.
I wasn't expecting that one, but that hits,
Hmm.
like, that's an emotional hit as well because it's a little kid.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Angie has some comments here. So we're going to go back to your son and his abilities real quick. And
Uh-huh.
I'll just read everything off. So she says, I've been recently really overthinking certain ideas about failing the lessons life gives you, so your soul will have to go through the same mess again in the next life. Isn't
Hmm.
isn't it like failing spiritually to what? Angie, god darn it. This English isn't her first language. Isn't it like failing spiritually to block all the things your son could be capable of? Um I don't know. Okay, because they were given a chance to evolve spiritually
Hmm.
and they decided to not go that path. Oh, okay. So she's asking basically, isn't isn't your son his ignoring of his gifts or whatever, isn't that a way of him not advancing in life because he's denying that?
Well, this is what I say to this. Everybody has free will. And just because he's not choosing to acknowledge it right now does not mean that he will not acknowledge it when he has that place where he hits that awoke point. I can only give him the information and the tools, but it is up to him. This is his journey. And there's like, what I say is, as much as we want things for our children or people that we love or that we care about, and we can give them our best guidance, our best, opportunity for them to succeed, it is still ultimately up for them to choose. And they have to walk out their path. Because if we try to control that, then we are short circuiting whatever karma or whatever lessons that they are choosing that they have to go through in order for them to really truly evolve in their own spiritual path. Because, and a lot of the times, when we fail certain things and we have to come back another lifetime, it's that samsara. It's because we are failing to recognize that we're not releasing what no longer serves us, and we stay stuck. And so we have to come back and repeat that whole samsara situation. So that's my answer for that.
Okay. I think that's a good answer. And that was a pretty good question. I never would have thought about that.
Yeah,
But Angie's an
I like
intellectual.
that.
Okay, so well, she is. She's really intelligent. So with the repeating to learn life lessons, is this something that we choose to do, or is it forced upon us that you know of?
I feel personally we choose it. We choose our destiny or we live our fate. I always say that. And, it comes down to two basic rules for me. Are you doing stuff in fear or are you doing in love? And, a lot of the times, like I know personally in my life, the suffering that I've allowed to continue in my life is that I take full responsibility for, because I felt like I wanted to hold on to something. And instead of allowing it to move out of my life so I could, evolve, I wanted to control that aspect of my life. And I didn't learn my life lesson. We sometimes have these people, places, or things that come into our life, and God is trying to move these people out of our life. But we're like, no, this is what I want. And we're throwing temper tantrums because we're being stubborn, brats, basically. So, I mean, sometimes we need to put ourselves in a timeout and look at the wall and say, with a mirror on, to say, girl, what you doing? Come on, how many times are you going to go through this? So it's just, and it is so funny because I will tell you there is a situation that did that. And I will tell you, and when I passed this lesson, I was like, hot damn summer in the city. I literally went and got a drink and celebrated myself because I will tell you, why. There was a situation where I met a certain person at a certain place, and it was bad from the get-go. I was like, no, this is bad boy city, run error, whatever. But I decided to jump into that pool, and I was like, it was a whole 3 months of like, oh my God, what did I just do with my life? So anyway, when I got out of all that nonsense that I brought with myself, I was at another place of, this is shit always happens to me at the laundromat, and I'm just going to say that. So I'm like, are you kidding me? So I'm sitting there doing my laundry, and here's this little sweet little talking bad boy trying to talk smack to me. And I'm like, and this is like the second time. And then and I said to the universe, oh, hell no, not today, Satan. And I'm like, I was like, no, I done learned this lesson. And he quickly left. And I swear to God, the universe was testing me. And I was like, certain like funny little things like that, I will tell you. Um, you just got to learn how to recognize those things and those patterns, and when the universe is, brings it back into your life, and just say, are you going to do this, or are you going to like level up and say, no, this ain't for me. I'm better than this. So
I actually recently saw something like that, not with myself, but with
mm-hmm.
Bonnie, who is
Yeah.
one of the other three or four who I know is legit. I saw
Hmm.
her. I won't put her stuff on out there, but she just passed some type of lesson or something. I can't explain it, but I
Hmm.
saw it firsthand, and I was like, "Wait a minute." It was very weird,
It
but
it is because I have this proclivity to bad boys and tattoos, and every time it just seems like I'll meet them at the laundromat. And I was like, when he sat down, I was like, no, I'm good, boo. Thanks anyway. I was so proud of myself because I really recognized I didn't want to, go back down this road again because I knew that I had evolved and I deserved something way much better in my life. So, when we make those little victorious moments in our life that we recognize dysfunctional patterns trying to swing back and we say, nope, not today, that's a good day.
time to get some cheesecake.
That's right. Woo woo.
Oh, I love
That's what I'm
cheesecake.
talking
That stuff is
about.
so good.
Oh, Melvin, I love cheesecake too.
So,
So we're good.
all right, you get it. And I probably would not trust, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not even joking, I probably would not trust someone who did not like cheesecake. I honestly wouldn't.
I know. And that's what I'm saying. I'm really okay. So now I'm really weird. Let me tell you this too. I'm really weird with people who don't like onions and peppers and things like that too. Like people don't eat onions. Who doesn't eat onions?
Okay,
You know what
so
I'm saying?
we're going on the
Please don't
food
tell.
talk real quick, but I am gonna say I
Yes.
only like raw onions. I don't like them cooked, and I don't like sweet onions. But I love red onions, white onions. Those are, but I only like them raw. I hate them cooked. If they're cooked, I will give
But you
you.
know that, but that's good because at least you have this, proclivity to eat onions. I'm like, it's just weird. Now, I will tell you, I don't like lettuce. Lettuce is weird to me. I can't do lettuce. It's just crazy, crazy talk. So I'm just,
Um, it's a lot of things I don't like. Lettuce.
Mhm.
Well, I don't like cheap lettuce, like iceberg. Bleh.
Yes, it's just disgusting. It's just like, it has no reason to be here on this planet. It really doesn't.
But
I'm just saying.
like I don't do peanut butter. I don't like peanut butter. I've never liked
I
peanut
don't
butter.
I don't like peanut butter either.
Um,
I like cookie butter, but no, I'm not a peanut butter person.
and I don't like coconut. Ugh. I don't know why
Well,
I can't do coconut.
I have to do coconut. I'm Hawaiian, so that has to be legit. I'm just saying. I gotta keep, I gotta keep some culture in there. So
That's all you. I can't do coconut. It's just so wrong. Um,
okay, but I still love you anyway, Melvin. I still love you anyway.
so, oh, you know what? Actually, okay.
What?
So, when do you do rituals? I don't know the correct terminology, so I'm saying rituals. Like
Yes,
when you're
I
doing
do. I
spells.
do.
So, when you're
Uh huh.
speaking with different spirits, while you're doing what you're doing, do you give them a type of food offering or another type of?
I oh, absolutely I do. Now, like for me, depending on the different deity that I'm working with, whether I'm working with the Orishas or I'm working with a Luau or I'm working with a certain type of, different type of being, and what I'll do is like I'll tell you, like Sue, who I work, Eshu, I'm sorry, Eshu, who I work with. He's like Papa Legba. He likes the cigars and the rum, and or Baron Samedi likes the rum and cigars, and now like with the ladies, they make like wine and grapes, and I know like when I go to the beach, I take watermelon and take it to Yamayan or Lacum, and it just depends on the different characteristics of that particular being. and respect, to them of what I offer. It's so funny. Some of them will ask specifically, if I'm doing certain things, and they will tell me, look, instead of, liquor or this, I want this, and this. And I listen to that because, some just want a cold glass of water. Some want, like, just little different items like seashells or just little things, little trinkets. And like my ancestors, when I work my boveda, and have my ancestral altar, there are certain things that I like to traditionally give them, like white rice, because, hey, I got that Polynesians like rice, that's that kicking into that, that ancestral nature of where you're, belong to appease the ancestors known and unknown.
Okay. So that's good to know. I'm gonna ask you this. It's gonna sound so weird, but uh,
I love the weird, Melvin. I love the weird. Bring it on.
okay. So the Fae, particularly fairies or pixies, I say them.
I
Uh,
love the Fae. They have a sense and a signature alters their own. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
oh no, it's fine. Interrupt all you want. So, what type of things did they like? Because for one of them, Daisy, I told you about her. I actually have some
Yes.
honey that was shipped to me from Slovakia. Really good honey, too.
Uh huh.
It tastes so different from what we have here. But anyway, I've actually been opening that and say, here you go if you want some of this essence. If you can take it, I don't know
Hmm.
how it works, while trying to do a little bit of candle work, meditation, etc. And maybe it's like, yeah, you could get your groove going with this. Is that acceptable, or am I just being a total prick insulting somebody?
No, absolutely. You're right on target because I feel like, there is no set guideline to whatever particular, offering that particular deity wants. Because, like, every time I work something, they ask for something different, and you just gotta, tap into that intuition to say, what can I give you? What can I offer you? Honey is like when I'm working with the Fae, I'm doing honey, I'm doing cream. I'm doing shiny things that they like. They love shiny, shiny things, and and so to answer your question, you're not at all being disrespectful or being non knowledgeable in that, because you're going in where you're reacting to something it's natural and flowing within you, to give them that appeasement. And so yeah, honey is always a go-to with me with a lot of the fae.
Okay. Um, and we're going to be close to wrapping it up, but there are
Uh-huh.
three things that I'm going to ask you. The
Yes.
first is, who is your favorite deity that you've worked with? Which I know, it's like, how can you pick a favorite? The sec the second is, who would you never work with again? Chances are you'd work with everyone again, but we'll see if
Uh-huh.
there is a particular deity you will not work with again. And the third, I will save until after those two are answered.
Okay, so let me answer this with complete integrity and honesty as the first one, because I walk in both the light and the dark. I am a gray witch. I walk in both realms because I feel like I have to acknowledge both realms in order to be whole. So I would say more towards the light is Archangel Michael. He is my home slice. He is my dog. I'm telling you what, I love Archangel Michael. He has bounced me out of more problems than I could ever tell you. He is awesome. Now, I will tell you, on the darker part of the side of me, my dark mother is Lilith, because Lilith brings empowerment to me. She brings out a side of me that, there is this, general myth and negativity and things that are spoken by unknowledgeable and ignorant things that have been written myth-wise about her. But the core of Lilith has taught me to be empowered, to be uh, confident in my sexuality, to be confident in who I am as a woman. And so I would always say, and those two aspects of that is who I would choose to always work with. Um, and as far as who I would never work with, um, I can't honestly answer that because I've never worked with anyone that I would not work with again. Some things has been a little scary, but with anything, you learn how to gauge yourself and grow. Sometimes, yeah, I've done the little spells, and I'm like, holy shit, this is like Batman scary, you know? But when I got through it, I grew. You know, when I started working goetic magic and you have to pronounce Latin or other different types of language, and you're like, man, I don't want to screw this up because I don't want to summon the Prince of Hell and it be like all shit break loose and like, you know, the hellhounds are out my door, you know, it's a little, you know, a little bit intimidating, you know?
Yeah.
But I would honestly say that's how I'd answer that. Yeah.
Okay. No, I figured.
And
So,
what's my third question?
all right. The third one, and this one is a big one, but
Mm-hmm.
what advice would you give to people who are experiencing a type of awakening and they are hearing spirits, they're feeling energy that they can't explain, and they have no idea what's happening, and they feel like they have no one they can turn to or anything like. They feel like they're crazy. What what can you say to them? What advice do you have?
Well, I've been that person because you know, I grew up, you know, before mentors, you know, trying to figure out at 13, 14 years old, you know, thinking I was batshit crazy, you know what I mean? So I would say to be patient with himself, to seek out a mentor, and to trust, you know, there's not always going to be good people out there. You have to trust and listen to your spirit, to whom they bring into your life or who they put you in contact, and ask the universe to bring you the correct person to give you the proper instruction, so you're not having someone that's some mediocre con man from Nigeria trying to sell you some crazy ass monkey spell from wherever, you know what I'm saying, in your inbox. So I'm just saying, you know, just be smart, listen, ask for the universe to send you the right person, and trust that each moment as you grow, you're going to get stronger. And I really, this is my heart because I work with so many people that are in that process, and that my goal is someday to open up a school to take those people in and give them safe harbor, and, you know, flood the banks that bind them so they could move in their gifts and help change their life and change the world. And um, so I that's the only thing I could say is just don't doubt yourself, and just ask for the universe to bring you that person to help you.
Okay, and that's a good spot to end it. But before we totally do, where can we listen to and find Into the Abyss?
Sure, absolutely. Into the Abyss is on Facebook, of course. We're on Spreaker, we're on Spotify, iHeart, YouTube, and a few other platforms. But if you go into the Facebook and you look up Into the Abyss, you're going to see our fantastic Facebook page and events. And then, of course, you can find it, you know, on my page, Zarina Crow, and just, you know, come join us. We have a fantastic time. Sean and I cut up. He's amazing, and we just really have a blast.
And also, do you offer your services, whether it be a psychic reading, tarot reading, to the public?
Absolutely. I do have private sessions that I do for people, whether it be on phone, online, email. I do them locally here. I also do parties. I do event, you know, all types of events. I have, you know, a spiritual group that I'm going to start incorporating this month. So just, you know, different things that I do have to expand out. And they could always reach me at Madam Zarina or, Zarina Crow. Just send me an ad and I would be happy to, schedule someone in a session. I'm very affordable because I'm not here to gouge people at crazy prices. You know what I'm saying? I still have to put gas in my car, but I definitely work with people just because I feel like unity and growth is more important than anything.
Okay, that makes sense to me. So how can they get in contact with you?
You could reach me on my Facebook page, Zarina Crow, or Madam Zarina, or zarinacrow@gmail.com. I typically don't put my telephone number out into the public. If they inbox me and then we set up a session, I'll do that. Only just because I have some really crazy people sometimes that are, I have to, kind of keep that little thing controlled a little bit for a while.
I'm
So
sorry. I didn't mean to blow up your phone like that, okay? It was just one time.
Oh, Melvin, I love you. You can blow up my phone anytime, lovey. So you're awesome. I just get we get crazies, people that just, they're just for whatever sense have a war within themselves. And when people have a war within themselves, then they tend to try to disrupt other people's peace. So,
Oh, I've been there. Don't worry.
yeah. So,
But Zarina, thank you so much for coming on. And all those links that she mentioned where you can reach her if you want a reading or listen to Into the Abyss will be in the description below. Keep your eye out for that. And also, don't forget to follow Unexplained Possibilities on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Reddit. With all that said, remember guys, there are things that go bump in the night. Go ahead and tell them hi. Bye everybody.